Hey, I'm Rob Patz.
Hey, I'm Jason Webb. Rob, we're back to another Wednesday with Thrive with Rob and Jason.
We are, and it's like I'm becoming a man of a certain age, Jason. I'm becoming that man. They messed with our software, and I feel out of sorts. I should probably have a fig and sit over in the corner for a while.
yeah. Coming on today was a new thing. It was kind of weird, but hey, we're back. We're ready to thrive again. It's football season, Rob. It's my favorite time of the year, and I know yours as well.
It is. It's football season, and of course, there's two parts to this, and it is funny because like I was a young kid, I was in college, and I started playing fantasy football, and it wasn't that I wasn't still a fan of football, but it changed the whole level of the way. Like Cleveland versus Jacksonville, all of a sudden mattered to me. It had never mattered before, but now I might have the quarterback for Jacksonville on my team. I don't this year. I have Patrick Mahomes in the league that Jason and I are in. I have Patrick, and so I'm excited about that. Watch, this is his off year. And nothing, and no hate. If you're watching from Kansas City, no hate. Come on. I mean, we all know, but I mean, this will be his off year because I've never had Patrick Mahomes before.
I had him last year, Rob, and in another league I have him again, and he did okay last year, but he had a down year last year as well. And it's tough for me to root for a KC player because I'm a Denver Broncos fan, and you
Yeah.
know how that goes. But hey, I'm still rooting for him, like you said. Fantasy football changed the game for me because now I'm rooting for random players that I know that I would never root for, but they're part of my team, so let's go for it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's cool. We're excited about that. We've got all kinds of things going on. Hey, listen, you know what? We are on the countdown. Of course, Labor. Hey, how was your Labor Day? What did you
It was
do?
good, buddy. It was good. Had some time down with the family. Just got some things accomplished. Summer's we kind of officially ended it with Labor Day, right? That's bad. But then football starts, so you
Well,
get both,
we're both
and
are
we
in
look
button.
we look dapper.
It's
Yeah.
it's got to be fall because we're away from the golf shirts and back
Yes.
into button down shirts. What happened to us? But yeah, it was a great. Of course, Chris and I celebrated our
Yes.
anniversary over the weekend. Our anniversary was actually yesterday, but we do it. We go and celebrate over the Labor Day weekend, and had a great time. It's just, and we went to a place called Mackinac Island, and if you've never been, there are no cars. It's a very small island, and it's just really super fun. And you know what happened was about day two of it, I started to like decompress, and I actually, instead of just staring at your phone or checking your email, I was walking. I kid Kristen about this. There are a huge amount of trails. It's an 8 mile. If you go all the way around the island, it's 8 miles.
Oh
We didn't
wow.
do that. Yeah. We did way more. I mean, my wife took me into the woods in the middle of the island, and I swear, I thought, well, it was fun being married for 3 years.
You
But
thought she was
that's
gonna end it
over
right
with.
there.
Yeah, this is where it ends. And we had a great time. But it was interesting to unplug. Of course, at times I would check uh Twitter, X now, as
That's
Elon
we
has
still
changed
got to jump in.
it.
That's where I get all of my news. As you know, Twitter is or X now is the fastest growing streaming service online. So there's Rob's profile, so you can follow Rob, so he can get you updated on things that he's got going on there. Yeah, love it.
And the funny thing about it is Jason doesn't even follow me, and we're friends.
Hey, I did start following you last night, Rob. I did see your
Did
post.
you?
So see,
Oh,
I finally
very
jumped
cool.
on there. Yes.
Wow. And that is so cool. The other thing, of course, that we love to talk about, and if you missed us over the last couple of weeks, we haven't talked about this, is is Jason and I totally believe that you need multiple streams of income.
Yes. Yeah, as part of thriving, we always talk about those multiple streams of income. This is one way that you can do that. Is you can actually have your own Amazon store, and you don't have to have any knowledge of how to do it, what to do, anything like that. the team through here, they actually manage it and do it all for you. It's basically a passive income that you can actually bring in and have that multiple streams of income. Rob, that's what we talk about in Thrive.
It is awesome too. I'm super excited about this. We're gonna have the gentleman, I guess, on the show here in a couple
Yes.
weeks, few weeks, whatever it is.
Yep.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
he'll jump on and talk about it. He's actually an ex-pastor. Well, not ex. He's actually still bivocational, so he does pastoring and does this on the side. So it's again multiple streams of income for him, but also helping to build up the kingdom. Him being a pastor, him and being a godly man, it's just incredible. And what we can do, as you know, Amazon's not going away anytime soon. Everybody that's probably listening here has a relationship with their Amazon guy, like Rob and I do. so jump on there, check it out. We want to help as many people as we can in doing this. So that's a huge thing.
Last week, I think people thought we were moving. There were so many boxes outside. Wife and I drove up, and I just started laughing. And it looked. I said to her, I looked over and I said, "You know what? It looks like if people didn't know us, they'd be like, wow, are they moving?" Because there were so many boxes on the stoop. Anyway,
nope, you're just buying more stuff.
Hey, anyway, but we appreciate that. Check that out. Yes. Back to not shaving again. I don't know how I feel about this.
I noticed that, Rob. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this because I went like 2 weeks shaving every day. Of course, we didn't have a Thrive when I did that. And now I'm on Monday, Labor Day. I decided not to shave. We were in Frankenmuth, Michigan. If you've never been and you like German food and German things, and you like Christmas, you need to go to Frankenmuth. It's incredible.
Yeah. Interesting. I was thinking, looking at you today with the dad, I was wondering if we needed to work on some more sponsors to help get some razors to you.
I would love that. So if you're watching out there and you're a razor guy, hit us up. Jason might even shave. If the sponsorship's big enough, he might shave. But his wife will then divorce him. So we'll need to have enough money for not only the shaving sponsorship, but the divorce lawyer. So that's the way we work. Yes. Hey, Jason, tell us about today's guest.
Yeah, awesome. Our guest today is actually somebody that I consider a mentor. I've known the gentleman for quite a few years, him and his family. We do a lot with his ministry on our network with Abundant, with 365 Christian Men. Blake Maddox, great to have you on the show. Tell us about yourself.
Guys. Wish I would have been involved in that football conversation with you.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll have to get you involved with it.
Yeah, I'm not in a fantasy football league currently, but miss being in one.
Well, shoot, man, we should have got you onto ours.
Yes, you should have. Think about me.
Dude, I'm coming back just for a quick second because Jason usually does this first part. We were looking for that last team. And we were on the struggle bus, man. It would have been awesome to have you as part of the league.
I would have known that. Yeah.
Well, we'll get you back in for it next year, Blake. I apologize. We'll make it happen.
Good. Thank you.
So tell me about tell the audience about who you are, your past, all of that stuff.
Yeah, in 2 minutes or less. My name is Blake Maddox. I'm currently the executive director of 365 Christian Men. Long before that, 40 years before that, I married my bride, Melinda. We celebrated our 41st anniversary in June. We have 2 sons. We have 2 bonus daughters, and we have 2 granddaughters. We all live in Colorado, which is a great blessing. I'm originally from Southern California. I moved to Colorado after getting out of the Marine Corps and have been here most of my adult life. I'm a pastor. I've been a pastor for many years. And for the last 6 years, the executive director and now president of 365 Christian Men.
That's incredible, Blake. And I'm close with you and your son and just your family. It's just incredible. Your wife is amazing with my wife. I love you guys. We have a very strong relationship and a strong bond, and just what you have built with your ministry, with your legacy, and now 365 and being a part of that. It's just incredible. Like, tell us about 365 and what it actually is.
Yeah, 365 Christian Men, our tagline is inspirational stories of real men. 6 years ago, we set out, an entrepreneur approached me, and we set out with this desire to create daily stories for men that would inspire men. Originally, they were going to be written stories that people could buy, on an ebook or print on demand. And the more we looked into it, the more we researched it, both of us have a good understanding of what it means to be a man. And so we thought we probably need to record these stories. So we hired professionals to write these stories. Then we hired narrators to record these stories. And we've spent the last several years compiling a daily story for men in 5 minutes or less, 5 to 6 minutes or less, excluding a daily challenge that would inspire men. Stories about real men, inspirational stories of real men, historical and modern day men. Just recently, we added another component to those daily stories, which we call a daily challenge. We have a team of men, you're included in that, Jason, of men that do a challenge or a call to action at the end of every story. And it has far exceeded our expectations. 365 Christian Men, we thought would be a US kind of a thing, and it's far exceeded those expectations.
Yeah, it's went globally, and being a part of that challenge team, it's so fun to be able to do that. So what these look like for the audience there is it's about a about a 7 to 10 minute story with the challenge involved there and the stories are of modern men and historical men that have God interacted with in their lives, but they're released every single day. It's just really really incredible in how they built the stories and how they go out. How can people consume these stories?
Yeah, great question. I see you got the QR code up there with our
Mhm.
link tree on there. We've made these stories accessible on every streaming platform. Because we're in over 100 countries, we actually created an app. And
Okay.
so there's a lot more content on the app for those that are interested. We also have created an option for people that prefer to get the story daily via text. And so some would rather do that than have another notification. So pretty much all the streaming platforms, an app, daily text. Of course, we've created a website. We've translated the stories into 4 languages:
Wow.
Spanish, English, obviously, Urdu, and Tamil. So we're doing everything we can to get these stories in the hands of not just people in the U.S., but literally around the world.
Well, and now that they can consume the stories actually through Abundant TV as well. Because
Exactly.
we've brought the stories onto the network. They're played twice a day, one in the morning, one in the evening. So you can check those out. It's just really cool to see how God has worked in this, because you guys started this from scratch, right? And now how many viewers are seeing these videos? How many of these people are interacting with these with your stories?
Yeah. Great question. We did. We started 6 years ago from scratch, having no idea what it would look like. It was fully funded at the
Mhm.
time by the entrepreneur, the visionary behind the project, and it's since expanded, as you know, Jason, which includes the Abundant TV app. We're reaching somewhere, probably a conservative estimate would be 5 to 7 million people a day, and those are
Wow.
pretty solid analytics with the analytics that we receive from people around the world in different streaming platforms. So it has far exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, that global reach and impact, that is huge. Those are God numbers. Like when you first started building this with your team and your board and everything else, would you have ever expected this, Blake?
No, we really thought it would be a US based kind of a thing that,
Hmm.
we had no expectation really. The whole idea behind it was this man that was the visionary was doing this for his 4 sons, and he wanted to inspire them. We built this project on Hebrews 12:1 that tells us we're surrounded by this great cloud of witnesses that has run the race, and he wanted to inspire his sons to run the race. So we thought no better way to do it than through the power of story. That's how Jesus inspired people, was through the power of story. So that's what we set out to do.
Yep.
But we have no expectation of what the reach would look like at all.
That is amazing. Yeah, the power of storytelling, man, it is incredible. With your stories, because you guys use authentic stories, testimonials of like I said, historical and modern day men. Um, it's incredible, and then everything that you base off is that Hebrews 12:1, and we're actually going to be sending out an email this week, because we do a weekly email to people that are teaming up with 365 Christian Men to be a part of this as well, in terms of your funding and your donations and different things as we grow this ministry. What does that look like if people want to join, and what is some of those impacts of them joining, partnering with 365?
Yeah. Boy, another great question, Jason. So Initially our project was funded 100% by the entrepreneur. In June of this year, we transitioned from a for-profit to a nonprofit. We saw the reach becoming global in many ways. For example, we are ministering in a church in Pakistan every week. One of my board members, Russell Jensen, and I meet with the pastor there every Thursday to coach him, and then we meet with the church every Saturday. We've since that time met with another group in Pakistan that we're praying for and encouraging, supporting. We've connected with a group in India who are translating our stories into Tamil and working with them. So we saw that this was becoming more than just a platform where we created and gave away the stories. It was becoming a platform that was opening doors for us to do ministry around the world. So we wanted to give people an opportunity to be able to partner with us to not only continue to give the stories away, we give the content away. 100% of it is given away freely. But in order to translate these stories, in order to support all of the work that we're doing around the world, obviously it costs money. Create new content would cost money. So we wanted to give people an opportunity to partner with us to see this this work continue to expand and grow.
We look at generations past and just the historical context of stories. Before our internet age or TV age, which has just only happened really in the last 100 years, stories were passed down from generation to generation, and that's what transformed and built men and just built the Bible. That the Bible is a collection of stories, right? We want to take 365 Christian Men, and we want to continue adding more stories and adding more ministry, because everybody has a story to tell. So that's where we're partnering with 365. That's going to help build that and also expand the ministry, even more globally. Because one thing that you guys did this year, talk about that, is at January 1st, there was a big added venture into 365, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you say a big thing added, are you talking about specifically the Spanish component?
The
What are you
Spanish
talking
side,
about?
yes. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Spanish side. You added a Spanish ministry to it.
we did. So we've got a Spanish website, and
Mhm.
we're trying to reach the Spanish world, which, as we know, is the third largest language in the world, along with other languages and other people groups. So, yeah, super exciting opportunities that God has opened up, and He's opened it up through the power of story. And the beauty of it is that we want to do a couple things with stories. First of all, we want to remind men that God is not done writing their stories. There's a lot of people that log on daily and are discouraged, defeated, disillusioned, feeling like their life is not making an impact, or feeling like they close the door on any potential opportunities. It's just not true. And these stories remind men that God is not finished writing the stories. So we want to encourage people with that. And then the other beauty about it is that we'll never run out of
Mhm.
stories. As long as there's people breathing on planet Earth, we are going to have stories to tell, whether they're stories about men and stories about women, which we're going to do as well.
And you want to start building out that ministry as well. We've had a lot of discussions, like in terms of how these stories have transformed or helped men or fathers teaching their sons. Like, tell us about some of those testimonials that you have, because you're getting emails on a daily basis.
Yeah, we hear stories from all over the world. Literally, that's not an exaggeration, of people being delivered from addictions. They'll hear a story about a man that was struggling with some kind of an addiction, alcoholism, pornography, whatever it is. They listen to the story, and they were reminded that there's other people that have the same kind of struggles. And so they love to write in and share testimonies with us about, I heard this story, God spoke to my heart. I believe that what He did for that man, He can do for me. And they connect that faith component with the power of story, and begin to believe again. And it's amazing what we see God doing in people's hearts through the simple story that's being told authentically. Men are not generally vulnerable, especially especially in arenas that are larger than themselves. And so these platforms give us an opportunity to tell stories about real men and their real struggles, and how, when they're honest and authentic, God can come in and do amazing, above and beyond what we imagine and expect.
Well, the really cool things about listening to the stories every day, being a part of the challenge teams, and everything else, it is historical men and modern day men, and it's names that you recognize and that
Yeah.
you know, and we always hear all of the good things, but you don't ever hear the struggles that these men have went through, and it brings them down to to make you understand and that you're like them, that they're like you, that they're just another man. They've went through some struggles and things like you have, and so it brings it down to where you can do this as well. And so I love hearing a lot of these testimonials and being a part of the challenge team. One thing about being a part of that challenge team, we have the story out there, and then how big is that challenge team? Talk about that. I'll let you talk about that. What that looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to add new content, and knowing that
Mhm.
creating new content was very expensive, we thought what would be a great idea would be to gather a group of men, and we have somewhere between 35 and 40 men that are on the challenge team. And the assignment for these men is to take a story and to with that story call out a 1 to 3 minute challenge or call to action. So today, for example, the story is about a good friend of mine. His name is Vince Bucelaire. He actually died in a mountain climbing accident, but before he
Wow.
died, he had gotten an assignment from the Lord, started in Colorado, and his assignment was put a Bible on the top of every 14er. 14er is a 14,000 foot peak in Colorado. Put a
Mhm.
Bible on the top of every one of those peaks. He did that, actually accomplished that. Imagine that. There is a Bible on the top of every 14er in the state of Colorado because of Vince's obedience to the Lord. The challenge that's done today for that story is done by Vince's pastor, George Morrison, who happens to be my father in law. And
Oh
so,
wow.
what we do is we take the story and then we connect it with a man who does a challenge or a call to action so that people can have a takeaway from the story, not only be inspired by the story, but actually have a takeaway from the story as well.
Wow. Yeah, I'm in Colorado as well, but we only live a few minutes away from each other. If just for reference for people, the 14ers, the 14,000 foot peaks in Colorado, there's 58 of them in Colorado. 58 of these. So to have a Bible on every one of these, for him to go up and hike these 14ers to do that, that in itself, just being a part of it, that's incredible. I don't know of anybody besides him that has done every peak in Colorado to 14. That is really really cool. Um, so what are some future things, some future projects that 365 has?
Yeah, well, we just actually interesting that you asked that. Just was talking to a friend of mine yesterday who is an apostle in Thailand.
Mhm.
And I said to him, Ajay, what can we do to get the 365 Christian men stories into your hands so that you can share them in and around and through Thailand? And then what would we do and what could we do to look at the cost of translating those into the native language so people can watch them in their native language? So that's something I just had a conversation about yesterday. We would like to right now start translating the stories into Hindi. Currently, the stories are being translated into Tamil, which is a southern part of India, reaching somewhere between, they tell us, 7 to 9 million people. We have boots on the ground in India telling us that. But they have an audience, they have an audience of Hindi speaking people that we could reach 140 million people if we translate the stories into Hindi. For $30 per story, we can translate these stories into Hindi. So those are just two great examples. The other big thing that we want to do is we want to create new content. We have a story for every day of the year, 365 of them, but we want to create new content. And in order to do that, it's expensive, especially if we do it the way we've done it in the past. So we're looking for ways to generate revenue through partnerships, people coming alongside of us so that we can do the translation work, we can give the stories away, and we can create new content.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like, one thing that really has stood out to me, or one story, um, was how you talked about 365% and the stories getting out to the Middle East countries, to India, Pakistan, a lot of these places to where the government is allowing these stories to come through. Um, Talk about that a little bit, because that can be contentious over in that area.
Yeah, we had an opportunity come our way about a year ago now,
Hmm.
in the Middle East, in Beirut, Lebanon, where we again, our vision is to give these stories away. We really believe this. These stories do not belong to us. These are stories that are written on men's hearts, and they belong to the world because it's the work of God's Spirit in a man's heart. So we give these stories away. And so I connected with a guy in the Middle East, and we gave them the content, and they tested it on the radio out there, and they want to use it out there. It would be much easier when it's translated into Arabic languages, but yeah, it's being shared in the Middle East in English currently, and again, all over the Middle East, all over Europe, Asia. Haven't really gotten into Africa yet, but that's our goal, is to get in there soon, according to the Lord's leading. But yeah, impacting people literally all over the world.
Hey, Blake, I want to just for me, because I was writing stuff down off camera. Did you say 140 million people?
140. I confirmed that number. I confirmed that number with our team in India just this week. If we translate the stories into Hindi, which is the largest language, there's several languages spoken in India. We're translating them, or we've currently translated them into Tamil. But if we translate them into Hindi, the potential audience is 140 million people having access to these stories in their native language.
And Jason, did you say it was like just $30 a month? Isn't that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
If we start
there's multiple different packages. That's $1 a day to help get these stories out to the world. This is incredible, Blake.
So here's
one
the
story.
Thing.
Imagine that we can translate one story into Hindi for $30. That's the cost to translate it, and that has a potential of reaching 140 million people. We have testimonies of people that have heard the stories in Tamil, and they've gotten saved. They've gotten delivered by listening to these stories, because these stories honor Christ and what God has done in people's lives.
And here's the thing, Blake, not all of us can travel around the world and be missionaries. And there are people out there, and there's probably somebody watching today who says, I can't do that. I can't travel. I've got a business. I've got a family. I can't. But for $30 a month, you can be part of this team to give, to see lives changed. 140 million people.
Yeah.
For just $30 a month.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Those
are God numbers, man. Those are God numbers, and it comes down to $1 a day to be able to do that and spread these stories. And that's just one portion of the world. You think 140 million people there, but then as we start to translate, like you said, Thailand and other places with this is incredible. Like, this is you guys are opening this up to let people partner with you. Blake, I'm happy to be a part of this and just be building what you guys are doing. This is incredible for you to be obedient to God. I got to give it up to you.
Well, thank God for his work in our lives, and for the power of story. It's God's model. He set it up. It was his desire from the beginning, and he's still writing history, still shaping history in and through the lives of men and women who will yield to him. And that's the power of and the beauty of story and the beauty of 365 Christian Men.
Go to the link, hit on the QR code there, and do this. Stand with us, thrive. Jason and I both believe in this ministry completely. Just $30 a month helps reach 140 million people. How incredible is that?
Yes, incredible. Yeah. Blake, I love you, sir. You know this. Love your family. Thank you so much for being on today. It's always great talking, and we talk on a weekly basis. But we love you,
guys. Thank you. So appreciate your support, your wisdom, and you can't do kingdom work without kingdom relationships and without kingdom collaboration. I'm grateful for you guys, your hearts for the Lord, your desire to see God glorified, and that example given to the world. So thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, buddy, another week is gone.
Yes, sir. We're down another week. I can't believe it. And next week, we're going to be talking about fantasy football start.
That's it. Woo-hoo! Hey, go out and thrive.